with 1.5 on the clock. The lob, and that will do it. FDU believe it.
Today we're going to talk about how FDU managed to beat Purdue. The three areas we're going to talk about are Zach Edey on defense, Zach Edey on offense, and then tough shots that FDU was able to hit. So first and foremost, because Zach Edey is such a dominant player, FDU knew that they were going to have to essentially come up with an offense and defense philosophy that's centered around him as an individual. So in these possessions right here, we can see that FDU essentially directly goes after Zach Edey or the person Zach Edey is guarding. All of these plays are designed to target Zach Edey, and while he has good length and good rim protection, his feet are his biggest weakness for sure, and so they're trying to attack those feet in space, which is exactly what they managed to do here, getting him coming up to set for the ball screen and letting the quick, agile point guard essentially getting downhill and getting by him. Same concept. They're making sure Zach Edey is on the ball, letting that ball handler control the possession, putting a ball screen involving Zach Edey. And again, as soon as Zach Edey shows any form of help whatsoever, they're going to snap the ball back to the original screener who is posting up ready for a shot. And part of Purdue's game plan is allowing those shots to happen because number 11 isn't a historically great three-point shooter, but that's the thing with three-point shots is there are some days when it's going to bite you. Same thing, Zach Edey up in the ball screen. Notice all the space on the perimeter everywhere else. They're trying to make sure Zach Edey has to operate in all of this space right here. Zach Edey helps. The distance he has to close, that is not going to happen. The second aspect is, in reality, in order to really defeat a team that's 16-1, you're going to have to hit some very contested tough shots. And FDU did that, especially late in the game, which helped them seal the victory. So this is a fadeaway step back, like that's a tough shot to hit. With the game on the line, as this is close right here, FDU managing to hit these shots really put them in a good position. The last area we're going to discuss is Zach Edey on offense. So Zach Edey is a historically great offensive player, just tremendous everywhere. The first thing we're going to look at is when he touches the ball, how FDU handles it. They swarm to the ball in the situation. Right here, number 2 is helping early. This defender is helping off his person in the paint. And Zach Edey is forced to give up the ball. While that leads to an open shot, which shows how dominant Zach Edey is, that is what FDU was essentially having to ride with throughout this game. You can see again, ball gets swung around. In this situation, FDU is too spread out on the perimeter and Zach Edey's finished it. So this is the big difference between the last play we had, where Purdue really made sure that Zero, I believe he's their worst shooter on the floor right now, is the one passing to Edey, so his defender has to be up, and then everywhere else on the perimeter, you can see they have to respect these shooters, and this back screen right here means that both these defenders are worried about what's going on here, and so no one is in time to help. Similar concept, great job by Purdue here, having Zach Edey set the ball screen up here, and then waiting patiently, and essentially waiting for this communication right here to mess up with FDU and get Edey one-on-one with space. Not even one-on-one, one-on-zero with space. Similar, Zach Edey in the ball screen. FDU does an okay job. Purdue looks for a high-low action, keeping the ball in the middle of the court, making sure FDU is really hard to help because it's such a long distance and that's an easy pass for this person to make if he catches the ball and help comes. Instead, Zach Edey has one-on-one and he's going to finish that. Okay, notice the timestamp right now. It is 4:05 and it's 26:22. Zach Edey left the game at that last moment and now enters the game again because FDU went on a 6-0 run, which shows how dominant Edey was, even though I do highlight a little bit of how his deficiencies on defense or make it hard for him to play defense. He is so dominant that Purdue essentially needs him in the game to even be able to stop FDU on defense. Again, as soon as he comes back in, instantly makes them pay. Okay, so in the second half, the big adjustment that FDU made is they're essentially saying, we don't care, we're going to give you open threes, we are not going to let Zach Edey score. This is a perfect example of that. We can see we have 2 players here, 2 players on him while the ball is down here, and this defender is cheating towards him already as well. They still manage to get the ball in. As soon as he touches the ball, he has 2 defenders on him and 1 more defender coming up from the top of the perimeter. He's a good player, so he makes that shot. However, this defensive shift is what really essentially led to FDU having the success they had, because Purdue wasn't able to hit shots from the outside at a good clip, so they had no other method for offense. So here we can see FDU is fronting. All players are looking at Edie, seeing when this ball is coming in. This is the same action we saw earlier where Purdue throws the high-low, shooters on the perimeter, but the difference is FDU is so much more aggressive. As soon as this ball is thrown, defenders are flying towards it. So, because this help is coming over down here, this is what FDU is giving up. As Purdue capitalizes, they set the screen right here, and they look for an open shot from 25 in the perimeter. So we can see here, the game is on the line. Purdue needs a bucket in this situation. 5 is right here, 11 and 2. No worried about shooters, but bigger priority in the situation is Zach Edey around the rim. He catches the ball, 2 defenders immediately, and this defender finds the ball and knocks it loose for a massive turnover. This is Grant Singleton in reference to, or who was one of their guards, in reference to Zach Edey and his impact.
I do being at my size and using my athletic ability to come down there and help as much as I can, to keep those guys comfortable down there, out of foul trouble, and making sure we got extra possessions. We know they're a good team. Knew he would score, but just getting those extra possessions, every possession counts. So